On the field, he's known as a hard-throwing reliever with a near 100-mile-per-hour fastball and a sidearm delivery capable of freezing hitters. Coming out of the bullpen, his job is to shut down the opposition, but it's his struggles off the field that have led Jake Diekman on an entirely different journey. This is something that you've been going through for a long time. Can you just explain what colitis is and what kind of impact it has on your daily life?
Ulcerative colitis is like an intestinal disease. Crohn's and colitis affects 1.4 million people, and it's the biggest cause of IBD. I mean, there's days where you're super fatigued. There's days where you don't feel like doing anything. Some days it's debilitating.
And this isn't something that's recent for you. I know you can get diagnosed basically at any point in your life, but you've been dealing with this since you were a kid. Tell the story about how you found out that you had this.
We went to California for like 2 months, came back, got really sick, went to the doctor. Doctor thought it was water poisoning. 2 weeks goes by, and we're like, I'm pretty sure this isn't water poisoning anymore. So we go to a specialist. He's like, we need to get you a colonoscopy. All right. Found out that it's ulcerative colitis. Had a PICC line put in my arm so they could give me prednisone and hopefully calm down the flare-up for a while. So I went to school with that for like 3-4 weeks. And then after that, it got pretty calmed down. And then like you'll just have flare-ups every now and then.
And how old were you when all this happened?
I was 10 or 11.
10 or
so
11.
I've had it for like 17 years.
So you've had it for 17 years,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no cure, there's just treatments.
Yeah.
How have those treatments gone? I mean, certainly there's been good and bad, correct?
Yeah. Normally it's just been pills for me. I'll take like, I don't know, from age 10 until now, I would take 10, 15, 20 pills a day, just randomly. But when I was young, that's the one thing. When you're young, you don't realize how important taking those pills are, which that's the biggest thing. If I could tell little kids, take your pills because they will help. I know they suck. I know, like, okay, yeah, in the morning you have to pop 8 pills, and then at lunch, like, but you have to do it. When I was younger, I wasn't the strictest person on making that work.
You didn't always take your pills, basically.
No, yeah.
And what happens if you don't take your pills? What were those days like?
You can feel it. I mean, you get super fatigued. You become really irritable. This offseason, Jake had a flare-up where he lost almost 20 pounds in 2 weeks. After an unsuccessful trial with Remicade, he now gets an infusion called Entyvio, which so far has helped.
When you have the flare-up, what is that like for you, and how do you fight through that?
I've experienced dealing with this for like 15, 17 years. So I know if I can eat right, if I can stay hydrated, so I don't feel overheated. If you take your pills, like, you will feel better. But the minute you skip a dose or skip a half a day, that is when it's gonna like bite you.
In addition to the infusions, Jake currently takes 20 pills a day at breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So we take 3 prednisone, take 4 of these, and then 1 more later, azathioprine, and then Dayzacol we take 12 of these a day. We'll take 4 right now.
Does it seem excessive, like when you
Yeah,
first get
at times.
prescribed this stuff?
Yeah.
But it's just part of life.
Yeah, it's whatever. Then you just down the hatch.
You say you've been able to avoid flare-ups really during the season. What's the worst flare-up you've had during the season, and did that affect your ability to go out and pitch?
It was probably in AA. I had a flare-up for like 2 weeks, and I would wake up in the middle of the night at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would just feel so overheated, where I would sleep in the bathtub for like an hour.
Just fill up the bathtub with cold water and sleep? Or,
yeah.
And fall asleep for how long?
Like an hour. And then I'd wake up, go back to bed, fall asleep until my alarm went off.
When you look at what the doctors are telling you about what's happening, what this is actually doing to your body, Do you feel like it's going to affect your career at some point and stop you from being able to pitch?
No, I don't think about that. I mean, I woke up from a colonoscopy this off season, and I asked the doc, because I mean, I was out of it when I woke up. So I asked the doc, I'm like, hey, can I pitch with a J pouch in if, like, that's what we have to do someday? And he's like, yeah, you can. And I'm like, all right, that's all I needed from you, and I laid back down and went to bed. Stuff could be a lot worse than what it is. And I mean, if I pitch 4 more years in the big leagues, that's fine. If I pitch 10 more, that's fine. Baseball's my job. Like, taking care of myself is my life first. That's the biggest thing I've learned this offseason. Like, if you can take care of yourself and take care of your business on here, everything will be fine. I'm a person, I have problems too, just like everyone else. But it's how you deal with them. If you let negative thoughts just control your head, then it's just gonna bring darker days ahead of you, which is terrible.
Explain to people at home who might not understand the J pouch and what that would mean for you.
It's like a bag inside, and then they have this new one called a W pouch, I think. It's like twice the size, and it's basically, it just holds everything in. It would take like 3-4 months in the off season to do it, but that's, I don't know, that's a step I don't know, I'm terrified of.
You know it's a possibility,
I'm terrified
but you're not
of,
thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm terrified of 10% of my head, but 90% I'm like, all right, it's gonna come someday. It's just, hopefully it's not for 10 more years.
I know one of the things that you've talked about is you've shared through social media, Twitter, Instagram, that you go through this. What is the message that you're trying to get out there by kind of sharing your story with people?
Just that, I feel like communication is the biggest part. When I was growing up, I was so embarrassed to talk about it. But now that I'm older and I've had it for so long, like, I don't care. If anyone wants to talk about it, I'm up for it any day of the week. But yeah, like, for little kids going through like middle school, high school, like preschool, like that, I mean, it can be like a very embarrassing subject to talk about, which, I mean, if any of them ever want to reach out and just sit down and talk about it, I'm totally game.
You've been doing work, as we said, through social media, getting the word out there about Crohn's and colitis and the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. You actually, I guess, connected with them on some level. I mean, you're a professional athlete, so they see value in you getting the message out there. How did that come about, and what are you doing with them?
It came about after my flare-up this offseason. I was just like, this is enough. Like, I would go in and get my infusion, and I'd see like a 10-year-old, I'd see like a 60-year-old, I'd see like a 6-year-old in there.
All at the specialist for the same thing you're in
I'd
there
be
for.
like, this is unbelievable. I would talk to the older lady, and I would just be like, how long have you had it? She was like, oh, like 20 years. And I'd be like, this isn't fair to them. And then I just started tweeting out pictures of my infusion and stuff, and I was like, we need to do something here.
So do something he did. Jake got involved with Athletes Brand and came up with this t-shirt. All proceeds will benefit the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The simple message, gut it out, a saying which Jake keeps a permanent reminder of.
Gut it out in whatever you do in life. If you're gonna half-ass something, then, I mean, you're not gonna get anything out of it. So, I mean, when you're on the field, give it your all. If you're at your job, give it your all. I mean, I know I have to take my pills every day. Like, some days it's gonna suck to take it. Some days, like, I'll just forget. You have to, like, take it. You have to do what the doctor says. They are smarter than you. They actually, like, do know what they're talking about. And I wish that was something I learned when I was little and, like, took serious. But yeah, just, I mean, whatever you do, put your whole heart into it and just gut it out.
Jake's Gutted Out shirts are available at www.athletesbrand.com/CCFA. Enter CSN at checkout to receive 15% off. All proceeds go to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. For more information, visit www.ccfa.org.